My name is Laura, and I'm 45 years old. I live with my husband, John, who's 2 years older than me, and our 14-year-old son, Mason. We have a great relationship as a family. I'm sure we seem like a happy family to those around us. However, one day, our family's peaceful life suddenly came to an end.
I think I'll have to work overtime tonight. I'll probably be home by morning, so don't wait up for me.
When John's workday usually ends 6 p.m., I got this message from him. He always lets me know when he's working late. But this time, things were different. Tonight's the anniversary of your reconciliation with your mistress, Ashley, isn't it?
What did you just say?
Tonight's the 10-year anniversary of you getting back together with your mistress, Ashley, right? That's why you're coming home late, isn't it? You don't have to lie about working overtime. I already know everything. Yes, the reason John was coming home late wasn't because of work, but because he was meeting up with his mistress, Ashley. And not just for any reason. They were celebrating their reconciliation anniversary. I figured it out about a month ago. I picked up John's phone, which he had left in the bathroom, and there it was on the lock screen, a shocking notification.
I had so much fun on our date the other day. I can't wait to see you again, John.
I remember how my whole body froze in shock the moment I read that message. Could he really be having an affair? He never seemed like he was cheating, and on weekends, he always invited us to go out together. Why would he do this? Who's the other woman? I quickly opened the message to check its contents. Luckily, the phone wasn't locked, so it was easy to access. But what I found in their messages was even more unbelievable.
This month, the 10-year anniversary of us getting back together, right? Shall we go somewhere to celebrate?
I figured you'd say that. So, I've already made a reservation.
A reservation? For what?
The luxury hotel you've been wanting to visit.
Oh my God. You reserved that fancy hotel? It must have been expensive.
Yeah, but it's for you, Ashley, so it's no big deal.
But if you suddenly spend that much money, won't Laura say something?
Don't worry, I'll just tell her it was for a work event. Besides, she hasn't noticed our relationship for 10 years. There's no way she'll figure it out now.
Same here. My husband still believes I'm just hanging out with my girlfriends all the time. He has no idea I've been cheating for 10 years.
We're lucky to have such clueless spouses, you know?
Exactly. It'd be great if they stayed clueless.
Totally.
That's when I realized John had been having his affair with her for the past 10 years. I found out about it, but I didn't tell John that I had looked through his phone. Instead, I casually brought it up. Hey, are you hiding anything from me?
Hiding something? No way. What's going on? Why are you asking me this all of a sudden? Did something happen?
Well, this is about my friend, but recently her husband has been working late a lot, so she looked into it and found out he was having an affair. Hearing that made me feel a bit uneasy.
What are you talking about? I'd never cheat. I would never betray you or Mason. Don't worry. How about we go on a date, just the two of us, without Mason? We haven't done that in a while. You're probably feeling anxious because it's been so long. Let's go grab one of those cakes you love. Sound good?
John didn't seem shaken and tried to brush it off, but later that night, I checked his phone again. He had messaged her.
Seems like Laura's getting suspicious that I'm having an affair. I don't think she'll figure it out, but just in case, we should avoid meeting up until after the anniversary.
From that moment, I continued to act normal around John, while quietly gathering more evidence of his affair. and today is their 10-year reconciliation anniversary.
Well, I'm off.
John, excited to see his beloved mistress for the first time in nearly a month, said this as he left, humming a tune. Little did he know what was about to happen. You reserved that fancy hotel she wanted to celebrate your reconciliation with your high school girlfriend, right?
What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. I'm really just working late. I don't know what you're imagining, but stop jumping to conclusions.
That's why I told you. You don't need to deny it. I already know everything.
Know everything? From who?
From your mistress, Ashley, your high school girlfriend. I'm with her right now. We're sitting in the lobby of the fancy hotel you reserved. It was a preemptive strike. Before he could meet her, I had already made my way to the hotel where they planned to meet. I knew what she looked like. John had saved a picture of the two of them together on his phone. Excuse me for approaching you so suddenly, but you're Ashley, right?
Oh, yes. Well, who are you?
I'm John's wife. When I said that, she gasped and froze, and her face quickly turned pale. She must have been panicked, seeing me, John's wife, suddenly appear in front of her.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just a high school friend of his.
She stammered, clearly in a state of panic. Please calm down. I already know everything. I know you're here to celebrate your reconciliation anniversary, and that your relationship has been going on for 10 years.
Well, that's not exactly.
Just tell me everything before he gets here. Realizing there was no escape, she started to talk.
You may already know this, but he and I were high school classmates, and we dated back then. We broke up in our senior year and didn't stay in touch or see each other again. But around this time, 10 years ago, we met again at our high school reunion. Because we had broken up over college, all the feelings came rushing back, and we foolishly started seeing each other again.
You knew he was married, right? I saw the messages between you two. It was clear you knew he had a wife.
Yes, I knew. He told me at the reunion 10 years ago. He mentioned he'd been married for 5 years and had a 4-year-old son.
And you were already married yourself at that time, weren't you? So why? Why did you do this?
I know our relationship is wrong, but I couldn't stop my feelings.
Couldn't stop your feelings.
I'm truly sorry.
With that, she began to cry softly. To others, I might have seemed like the villain. But I couldn't bring myself to offer her any kind words. That's when it happened.
Looks like I'll be working late again tonight, so go ahead and sleep without me.
John called me. This was unexpected. I thought he would go to meet her before calling me.
All right, I'll admit it.
Admit what?
You were right. I'm not late because of work. I was planning to meet her. But she's done nothing wrong. It's my fault. I was the one who reached out to her at the reunion and started this relationship. So stop blaming her.
Even in a situation like this, you're more worried about her than me.
That's not what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm coming over right now, so don't do anything crazy.
John hung up, making it sound like I was the villain here. Sure, the woman sitting in front of me, softly crying, seemed like the type you'd want to protect. About 10 minutes later, John rushed into the hotel lobby, clearly out of breath.
Reading my messages and barging in here like this? You've gone too far. What were you planning to do by confronting her in person?
I wasn't planning anything. I just wanted to hear the truth, and that's what I did.
Hear the truth? She's crying. You must have blamed her too much. I'm the one at fault. If you're going to blame anyone, blame me.
John was completely siding with Ashley. He defended her, who was crying, while accusing me. I calmly handed him the envelope I had brought from home.
What's this?
Why don't you open it and find out? John opened the envelope at my suggestion.
This.
Inside was a completed divorce agreement. At that moment, I caught a glimpse of her smirking beside him. But John, sitting next to her, didn't seem to notice.
Divorce papers? Why?
John held the divorce papers in his hand and asked me, "Let's get a divorce, John. After 15 years of marriage, finding out you've been betraying me for 10 of them. I can't trust you anymore. Besides, Mason is 14 now. How can he live with a father who's been cheating for 10 years during such a sensitive time?"
We could just keep it a secret from Mason.
Mason already knows.
What?
He noticed something was off with me and was concerned. I didn't tell him about your affair because I didn't want to worry him. But apparently, he had already figured it out a while ago.
No way.
Mason told me, with a sad look on his face, that he had been turning a blind eye to your affair, thinking about my feelings.
Where is Mason now?
He's at my parents' house. He knows I'm here today and understands why. Mason had realized John's affair long before I did. But in order not to add to my worries, my 14-year-old son had been carrying the burden all by himself. The moment I learned that, the sadness inside me disappeared, replaced by a burning desire for revenge on John. I can't keep living with you, pretending like nothing happened. For Mason's sake, I want to separate from you. Given that he had been carrying on with Ashley for 10 years, I thought John would accept the divorce easily. But instead, he said something unexpected.
I have no intention of divorcing you, Laura.
What?
Ashley is an old girlfriend from high school. And yes, when we met again, I couldn't control my feelings. That's true. Our relationship dragged on for 10 years, and if you hadn't found out today, it would have continued for 11, 12 years. But I've never thought about divorcing you, not once.
Never thought about divorcing me? But earlier, you defended her the moment you saw me. You were on her side, blaming me for making her cry. Doesn't that mean you were more on her side than mine? Isn't that right?
It's not about whose side I'm on. When I arrived, she was crying, so I blamed you because I thought you had made her cry. But I have no intention of getting a divorce. This relationship was just a fling.
I never expected those words to come out of John's mouth. But the most shocked person wasn't me, it was Ashley.
You're not planning to get a divorce. What are you talking about? I don't understand. And you're telling me this was just a fling? That can't be true. Laura is willing to divorce you, so just accept it and get divorced. Then I can divorce my husband, and we can get married.
Get married? Did you really think I was going to marry you?
You felt the same way, didn't you? You always said I was better than Laura. You told me, Laura nags too much. It's exhausting to be around her. I wish I had married Ashley from the start.
Hey, I never said that.
You did. Every time we met, you compared me to Laura and complained about her. Isn't that why you wanted to divorce her and marry me?
What are you talking about? I've never thought about getting a divorce.
Then why did you continue this affair for 10 years? If you weren't thinking about divorce, why did you cheat on her?
You knew from the beginning that this was a casual relationship, didn't you? That's why it lasted for 10 years. Besides, after 15 years of marriage, getting a divorce now would look bad. What would people at the company and in our family say? I thought you understood that much.
Ashley was stunned by John's words. She must have smiled when she saw the divorce papers earlier because she thought that if we divorced, she could marry him. But John didn't feel the same way.
This can't be happening. This is too cruel. I trusted you for 10 years. You were just using me, weren't you?
Using you? We both knew we could never be together. You called this a reconciliation anniversary, but our relationship ended a long time ago. Back in senior year of high school.
No, that's not true. We only broke up because of college. We got married to other people just because we lost contact during that time.
I used to think that too, but if we broke up because of our college, it means that's all there was to it. You get what I'm saying, right?
I don't get it. I don't understand at all.
Her voice echoed through the crowded hotel lobby. Everyone was staring at us. But she didn't care, continuing to shout at the top of her lungs.
If you're willing to be with me, I'll divorce my husband right now. I'll pay alimony, whatever it takes to be with you. Please think it over. You're the only one for me since high school.
Just as she shouted this, someone walked in.
I see. Now I understand how you truly feel, Ashley.
Why is Steve here?
It was Ashley's husband, Steve. She was completely caught off guard. I'm the one who asked Steve to come. I invited him to meet us here at the hotel.
Why did you contact Steve?
When I started investigating the two of you, I reached out to him. I thought it would be better for you if he knew the truth. While I was investigating John's affair, I contacted her husband, Steve, as well. He was shocked at first when I approached him, but he had already started suspecting that Ashley was cheating. When I presented him with the evidence, he looked resigned and said,
I had a feeling this was happening. I've been suspecting Ashley for a while. At first, she'd only go out with her friends every 3 months or so. But that started to increase. Once a month, then once a week. She ignored our child even when they begged her not to go.
Why didn't you confront her at that point?
I did try to confront her, but she kept insisting she was just going out with her girlfriends. And when I brought up how she wasn't thinking about our child, she'd yell back at me. What? A mother can't go out and have fun? Does a mother have to be by her child's side for life? She's always been impossible to handle once she gets worked up. She'd yell, even in the middle of the night, throw things, and cause a scene. I've been considering divorce for a while, but I had no idea she'd been cheating for 10 years.
I then told Steve, I actually came here today to ask you a favor.
A favor?
Have you heard anything from Ashley about the 24th of this month?
Now that you mention it, she told me she was going to celebrate her friend's birthday with an overnight stay.
Well, that day is actually their anniversary. It seems they're planning to spend the night at a luxury hotel that Ashley requested, so I'm planning to confront them there.
What?
Don't worry, I'm not planning on doing anything harmful. I just want to hear them out. I want to know the truth, the real feelings of the people who have betrayed us for 10 years.
Their real feelings.
Yes, so, if you'd like, would you join me? I think you'll get to hear what Ashley really thinks as well. After hearing that, Steve agreed to come to the hotel to hear Ashley's true feelings, which is why we're here now.
You told me you were going out with your girlfriends. Where exactly is he a girlfriend? When I confronted you, you said, what? A mother can't go out and have fun? I don't have any issue with a mother going out to enjoy herself. A mother is a person too. And of course, sometimes she needs to get away from family responsibilities and go out to have fun. I don't have a problem with that. But lying about going out with girlfriends when you were actually meeting your ex? That's something I can't ignore. Especially since you've been having an affair with him for 10 years. Why did you lie? Why did you go this far just to do something like this?
No, it's not like that.
There's no point in making excuses anymore. Didn't I tell you? I've heard everything from beginning to end. And you want to divorce me and marry him, don't you? So, there's no need for excuses.
Ashley fell silent at his sharp words. John was also flustered by Steve's sudden appearance. A heavy silence fell between all of us. That aside, did you bring it?
Yes, of course. I brought it.
Brought what?
Steve then pulled out evidence of Ashley's affair from his bag. I figured I couldn't gather all the evidence by myself, so I asked Steve to help collect proof of the affair. Of course, I've collected plenty of evidence myself. I think this will be more than enough. We'll hand this to the lawyer and get everything sorted.
Right.
Wait, what are you talking about?
You want a divorce, right? This is the evidence we need to file for it. We're also going to use this to demand compensation from both of you.
At those words, both John and Ashley went pale.
What's with that look? Did you really think divorce was the only thing you'd have to deal with? No way. You'll take full responsibility for what you've done, so be prepared. And there's more you'll have to prepare for.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about our daughter.
Our daughter?
Do you have any idea what she's been going through, staying home alone all this time? She believed you when you said you were going out with your friends. No matter how late you came home, she never blamed you. She said, if mom's having fun with her friends, I'll be fine.
But she's in 6th grade now, so even if I'm out.
Do you think a 12-year-old can handle everything on her own? And it's not just now. She's been holding this in ever since you started seeing him. For 10 years, since she was 2 years old.
That is not.
You lied to your daughter just so you could do this. You wanted to continue your relationship with that man, even though you had to put up with your little girl.
I did not think about that.
I can't trust you to be her mother anymore. I'm taking full custody. Don't even think about coming home. I'll give you the divorce you want, so go wherever you please.
Wait, why is this happening? I was supposed to keep custody of her. You can't decide that on your own.
It's not about deciding on my own. You can't raise her. What happens when it's just the two of you and you start chasing after men again? She'd be left all alone.
I would never do that.
Your words mean nothing after 10 years of cheating. And you just said yourself, she's in 6th grade. She'll be fine without me. You're right about one thing. She's growing up, and I think she's starting to figure out what you've been doing.
What?
When I told her I had some things to take care of today, and that she should go to her grandpa's, she asked, "Is it about Mom?" She knows exactly what's happening today. But she didn't stop me. That tells you everything.
No way.
Children see more than adults think. Even when adults believe their secrets are safe, children often see right through them.
You've been listening like this doesn't concern you, but you're just as guilty, John.
Me?
You knew Ashley had a husband and child. Yet you carried on with her for 10 years. And now you say you never intended to divorce your wife? Are you trying to claim you're not at fault?
That's not what
I'm not sure how Laura feels about your words, but to me, it sounded like I'm not to blame. It's her fault for misunderstanding the relationship. But neither marriage nor infidelity is something you can do alone. It's time you take responsibility for your actions.
But
I've been listening this whole time, and not once have you apologized. Every word that's come out of your mouth has been an excuse to protect yourself. Isn't that just a little too convenient?
but
As he said, you still don't get it. This isn't just her fault. Both of you are responsible for what you've done. You might think everything will be fine if you break things off now that you've been caught, but that's not how this works. Neither Steve nor I have any intention of forgiving you. You'd better prepare yourself. Lawyers will be in touch with both of you, so deal with it properly. From now on, we'll be discussing everything through our attorneys.
wait, are you telling me I'm not allowed to come home?
Of course. Did you seriously think you could come back home?
Then where am I supposed to go?
Why don't you go back to your parents' house? I've already talked to them.
You told my parents? How could you?
Well, that's it. We probably won't see each other again, but take care. Oh, and happy 10th anniversary. I'm glad it's a day you'll never forget. John's face twisted in anger and frustration at those words. And with that, we left. But things got complicated from there. John threw a fit, refusing to agree to the divorce, and we couldn't have a proper conversation. In the end, the matter had to go to divorce mediation.
I absolutely don't want to divorce you. I know I'm being selfish, but I can't give up. From now on, I'll live for you and Mason. Please give me one more chance. Laura, let's start over.
But my answer was a firm no. After being deceived for 10 long years, his words no longer had any impact on me. Eventually, the court ruled and we were divorced. I was granted custody of Mason.
I want to live with Mom. There's no way I could live with a dad who lied to us for so long.
Mason's strong stance played a big role in that decision. John hung his head sadly at the decision. And Ashley did the same.
This is already decided. I'm taking custody of our daughter. You're no longer fit to raise her.
Ashley and Steve's divorce was also finalized, and Steve was granted custody of their daughter. Apparently, Ashley fought against that decision until the very end. I couldn't help but think, if she didn't want to be separated from her daughter, she shouldn't have betrayed her family in the first place. As promised, Steve and I filed for compensation from both Ashley and John. John and I had been married for 15 years, and Ashley and Steve for 12. The fact that they had betrayed us for 10 of those years allowed us to demand more compensation than we'd expected.
There's no way I can pay this. The amount is way too high. Between Laura's demand and Steve's, how much will that even add up to? You have to lower the amount, or at least let me pay in installments.
Just so you know, that's not the only thing you'll have to pay for.
What are you talking about?
We have a son. Since I have custody of Mason, you're obligated to pay child support. As a parent, you'll need to at least fulfill that duty. Perhaps out of guilt toward Mason, John didn't argue about the child support and agreed to pay it. And then, on the day John packed up his things and left the house.
Well, I'm leaving now.
John muttered sadly. He was probably hoping that Mason or I would say something to him. But neither Mason nor I said a word, and he left the house, lonely and alone. 8 years have passed since then, and Mason, who was 14 at the time, has now graduated from college. He's working at a large company, and while it's challenging, he seems to be enjoying it. One day, I received a call from Mason, who's now living on his own.
Dad showed up at my workplace.
What? Somehow, John had found out where Mason worked and showed up. And did he do anything to you?
No, he didn't really do anything, but he started acting all fatherly, asking me things like, "How have you been?" and "How's life going?" But that wasn't the real reason he came.
What do you mean?
Apparently, Dad remarried Ashley, but they both got into gambling and are drowning in debt. They're barely scraping by. So when he heard I got a job at a big company, he came hoping I'd help him out.
It turned out that after John remarried Ashley, they fell into heavy gambling and ended up in debt. Unable to manage, he had shown up at Mason's workplace looking for help. You didn't give him any money, did you?
Of course not. I told him it was his own fault. I said, "You cheated on us for 10 years, and now you're only coming to me because you're in trouble? Get lost." That seemed to really hit him, and he left without saying a word.
After that, we never saw or heard from him again. I later heard that John and Ashley ended up divorcing because of their debts. I don't know where he is or what he's doing now, but I'm sure he regrets his foolish choices.